Welcome to World Prism. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. In the vast expanse of the South China Sea, a tense and high-stakes standoff is unfolding between two determined nations, China and the Philippines. The world watches as these rival coast guards face off, their ships locked in a delicate dance of power and restraint, each maneuvering for advantage in these contested waters. China claims nearly the entire sea, citing ancient historical maps and its sweeping 9-dash line, a boundary rejected by much of the world. The Philippines, on the other hand, asserts its rights under international law, specifically the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, and defends its exclusive economic zone, or EEZ, as recognized by a 2016 international tribunal ruling. The conflict has escalated in recent years, marked by increasingly frequent confrontations between Coast Guard vessels, fishing boats, and even military aircraft. These encounters are tense and dangerous, never quite erupting into open war but always teetering on the edge, with the risk of miscalculation ever present. China deploys its vast and modern naval power to enforce its sweeping claims, sending warships and Coast Guard vessels to patrol and intimidate. The Philippines, though vastly outmatched in terms of firepower and resources, stands firm, refusing to back down or surrender its sovereignty. Flashpoints like Second Thomas Shoal and Scarborough Shoal have become more than just disputed rocks and reefs. They are now powerful symbols of national pride, resilience, and strategic interest for both countries. Filipino Marines endure months of isolation and constant harassment aboard a rusted, grounded warship, holding their position against overwhelming odds. Meanwhile, Chinese vessels circle relentlessly, determined to assert Beijing's non-negotiable claims and pressure the Philippines into submission. In response, the Philippines has sought support from powerful allies like the United States, Japan, and Australia, transforming what was once a bilateral dispute into a regional flashpoint and a crucial test of international law and alliances. This standoff is far more than a local quarrel over distant reefs. It's a barometer for the future of Indo-Pacific stability, a test of resolve, and a warning of what's at stake if diplomacy fails. The South China Sea is a vital artery for global trade, serving as a crucial maritime route that connects the economies of Asia, Europe, and beyond. With a third of all shipping passing through its waters, it is one of the busiest and most strategically important waterways in the world. Beneath the surface lie rich reserves of oil, gas, and some of the world's most productive fishing grounds, resources crucial to the economies and food security of surrounding nations. These resources are not just valuable, they are essential for the energy needs and livelihoods of millions. The Philippines' exclusive economic zone covers much of the disputed area, a claim backed by a 2016 international tribunal ruling that rejected China's 9-dash line. This ruling was a significant moment in international maritime law, emphasizing the importance of legal frameworks in resolving territorial disputes. For Manila, this is about defending international law. It's a matter of upholding the rules-based order that governs the seas. For Beijing, it's about historical rights, strategic depth, and national pride. China views the South China Sea as an integral part of its territory, essential for its security and regional influence. China sees control of the sea as essential to its rise as a maritime power, a key element in its broader strategy to project power and secure its interests. Meanwhile, the Philippines views it as a fight for sovereignty and survival, a struggle to protect its territorial integrity and the rights of its people. The result, a collision of visions, with the South China Sea as the arena. This ongoing conflict has significant implications for regional stability and international relations. Here, law, power, and identity are all at stake, making the South China Sea one of the most contested and geopolitically sensitive regions in the world. China has transformed reefs into militarized islands, building runways and missile sites to project power across the sea. Its Coast Guard uses aggressive tactics, ramming, water cannons, lasers, to intimidate Philippine vessels, all while claiming to enforce Chinese law. The Philippines, unable to match China's might, has turned to transparency, embedding journalists on ships to expose Chinese actions and rally global support. President Marcos Jr. has shifted policy, emphasizing legal rights and public diplomacy. The grounded BRP Sierra Madre at Second Thomas Shoal stands as a symbol of Philippine defiance. Every successful resupply is a small but significant victory. Manila's strategy, persistence, exposure, and international law. Tensions have flared at key flashpoints like Second Thomas Shoal, where Chinese Coast Guard ships have repeatedly blockaded Filipino Marines stationed on a grounded vessel. These confrontations have become more frequent and aggressive, with Chinese vessels using their size and numbers to intimidate and restrict Philippine resupply missions. The standoff at this remote reef has become a symbol of the broader struggle for control in the South China Sea, drawing international attention and concern. Scarborough Shoal, once a traditional fishing ground for generations of Filipinos, is now tightly controlled by China. Filipino fishermen face constant surveillance and harassment, with Chinese patrol boats often chasing them away or confiscating their catch. The loss of access to these rich fishing waters has had a profound impact on local communities, fueling anger and resentment. In 2024 and 2025, Chinese helicopters and fighter jets have dangerously harassed Philippine aircraft on multiple occasions, flying alarmingly close and sometimes even locking radar. These aerial encounters have escalated the risk of miscalculation, raising fears that a single mistake could spark a much larger conflict between the two nations. At Sandy Cay, a tiny sandbar barely above water, both sides have planted their flags in a tense game of one-upmanship. Even the smallest features in these contested waters have become powerful symbols of sovereignty, with each side determined not to give an inch. China's large-scale military drills near disputed areas are clear shows of force, intended to send a message, not just to the Philippines, but to the entire region. These exercises often involve dozens of warships and aircraft, demonstrating China's growing military capabilities and its willingness to use them to assert its claims. Each incident, whether it's water cannons fired at Philippine boats, tense aerial standoffs, or the planting of flags on disputed reefs, raises the stakes and increases the risk of accidental conflict. The situation is volatile, with both sides unwilling to back down. These are not isolated events, but part of a calculated and sustained campaign of pressure by China. The persistent presence of Chinese vessels in disputed waters is designed to wear down Philippine resolve and assert dominance over the contested areas. The region remains on edge, with every encounter carrying the potential for escalation. In these crowded and contested waters, a single misstep or misunderstanding could trigger a wider confrontation, drawing in other regional powers and destabilizing the entire area. The standoff is as volatile as ever, with no clear end in sight. As both sides dig in, the world watches anxiously, hoping that diplomacy can prevail before tensions boil over into open conflict. Facing overwhelming odds, the Philippines has pivoted to strengthen alliances, especially with the United States. The Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement now gives the U.S. access to 9 bases, boosting its regional presence. Manila's new archipelagic defense concept shifts focus to maritime threats, while partnerships with Japan and Australia add further deterrence. Joint patrols, new vessels, and large-scale military exercises signal a united front. This network of alliances is designed to deter Chinese aggression and uphold a rules-based order. The Philippines is no longer standing alone, it's backed by a coalition committed to regional stability. Assertive defense, not accommodation, is now the strategy. At the heart of the standoff is the 1951 U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty. The U.S. has clarified that attacks on Philippine vessels, including Coast Guard ships, in the South China Sea would trigger mutual defense commitments. China's gray zone tactics, harassment without open warfare, test the limits of this treaty, forcing Washington to balance deterrence with the risk of escalation. U.S. warships conduct freedom of navigation operations, but China's provocations continue, probing American resolve. The risk of miscalculation could force the U.S. to act, or risk its credibility as an ally. The treaty is under unprecedented scrutiny, with both sides watching for the moment it might be invoked. The South China Sea is now a stage for U.S.-China rivalry, with the Philippines caught in the middle. The stakes could not be higher. After years of confrontation and rising tensions, the South China Sea standoff remains unresolved, with no end in sight. China dominates physically, with militarized islands and constant patrols, but the Philippines has won global sympathy, strengthened alliances, and drawn international attention to its cause. Beijing's coercion has altered the landscape, but at the cost of its reputation, and by triggering a growing regional coalition determined to push back. The Philippines has preserved its legal claims and internationalized the conflict, but daily harassment and tense encounters at sea continue. Neither side has achieved a decisive victory, and neither is willing to back down or compromise on their core interests. The region remains a flashpoint, locked in a fragile, enduring stalemate that could escalate at any moment. The contest continues, without a clear victor, and with the world watching closely as events unfold.